Hey Disney family, welcome to another episode of For the Love of the Mouse. I'm Crystal, and today we are going to talk about the Grand Floridian. The reason I wanted to do a post about this is because it is one of my favorite resorts. I absolutely love it. I loved staying there. I love visiting it, and I watched a vlog today and they weren't very nice to it. So I wanted to do like a defending it vlog, especially for people who haven't stayed there or maybe are on the fence about it. I just wanted to give my take on it because I absolutely love that place. So let's get started. The first thing about the Grand Floridian is I do think that there are certain resorts that are really good for different groups of people, and I think that this one is really good for couples, for if you're doing like a family reunion but you have older family members, and if maybe you don't have kids on your trip with you. I don't think that it is the most kid-friendly resort. That's not to say that you shouldn't stay there if you have kids, and that they won't necessarily love it, but I think that there are more kid-friendly resorts than the Grand Floridian. So I do think it's a little more adult-oriented, which is one of the reasons I think that we love it so much, is that it was, I think, a lot more adults and a little bit more adult-friendly than some of the other resorts. So that was one of the reasons that I love it. Another reason is the proximity to the Magic Kingdom. It is the last monorail resort before you get to the Magic Kingdom. So you're on the monorail for like 2 minutes, and it's incredible. You don't even have to take the monorail to the Magic Kingdom. Maybe it's a really busy time of year, maybe it's a really busy day, maybe the monorail is down. You can walk to the Magic Kingdom from the Grand Floridian, and it only takes a few minutes. And it's a really pretty pathway. You get to see some really cool stuff. So there's that as well, and that's another transportation option. Another thing about it is that it is one of only a few monorail resorts. There are only 3 monorail resorts at Walt Disney World. There's the Grand Floridian, the Polynesian, and the Contemporary. And then you also have, it's not a monorail resort, but it does have easy access to the Magic Kingdom, and that would be Wilderness. But it is one of only 3 monorail resorts, and I've only stayed of the monorail resorts, that is the only one that we have stayed at. But we have resort hopped to the other resorts, we've eaten in the other resorts that are on the monorail, and I have to say that the Grand Floridian is my favorite of all of those resorts that we have stayed at. I mean, it is the only one that we have stayed at, but I think that in terms of the decor, I think that in terms of the theming, I know a lot of people really love the Poly. It's a beautiful resort. It's got a lot going on, and it's great theme. We just got back from Hawaii, and I would love to be at the Poly right now, but I think that the theming at the Grand Floridian is better. Just my personal opinion. I'd also love to hear what your thoughts are about the monorail resorts and about the Grand Floridian. But next up, we also have some more transportation options. I think that the Grand Floridian offers some wonderful transportation. Not only do you have the monorail, you can also walk, but there's also the boats. You can take a boat. Granted, it is not going to be a direct boat from the Grand Floridian to the Magic Kingdom. You're going to go from the Grand Floridian to the Poly, and then you're going to go to the Magic Kingdom. But it's really not that long of a boat tour, and it's a really fun way to get around. When we resort hopped, when we stayed there over Christmas, we took the boats a lot, and it was really fun. In fact, that was one of my favorite days, was when we just kind of boated around all over the lagoon, so that was fantastic. Like I said, the theming. I think the theming of the Grand Floridian is amazing. I do think, like I said, it's a little more adult-centered, but I think that they did a wonderful job theming it throughout the entire resort. And I know that a lot of people do complain because it is a little bit more of a pricey resort. It is one of the most expensive resorts, let's just be honest. It is very expensive, but one of the things that people have concern about is that if you're paying that much money, that you don't want to walk outside to get to some of the accommodations. I actually really enjoy that. Granted, I've never been there during a hurricane, so I imagine that during one of those things that during some torrential downpour that lasts for a couple days, it's probably not the best, but I think it's great that you get to walk through the main entrance. You get to see all of the grandness at the Grand Floridian, and then you kind of get away from that to go to your room, and it's a little quieter, it's a little off the path, and that's actually one of the things that I really enjoy about it. Would love to hear what you think about that. Another thing, the Christmas decorations. Granted, these are only for 2 months out of the year, but the decorations are out of this world. And the decorations at the majority of the Disney World resorts are out of this world. But I absolutely loved these decorations. I thought that they were fantastic. And you can't do any better than that gingerbread house. I think that the gingerbread house, Carousel is a close second, but the gingerbread house is, you can't beat it. It's remarkable. I want to go and watch them put it up one year. I know that it takes several days to do, but I would love to do that. Another great thing, you can see the fireworks from the Grand Floridian, and you have a really good view. You have, it's not a head-on view, obviously, but you have a great view of the castle right out in front of the docks there, in front of Gasparilla. So you can sit there and you can get yourself a soda, you can get yourself a snack, get yourself a full meal, and sit on those patio tables in front of the water there in the little marina and watch the fireworks show. And it's a pretty darn good view of that show. You get to see a lot, and you even get to see some of the great stuff that's happening on the castle. So if you're staying there and you didn't know about that, definitely check it out. Like I said, it's in front of Gasparilla. Another thing are the views. We had a view of the Poly from where we stayed, but I think that in all of the different areas you have great views. You might have a view of the pool, you might have a view of the Poly, you might have a view of Magic Kingdom, which is amazing if you do, yay you. And I think that the views are really great in all of the different buildings at the Grand Floridian. There's 24-hour food at the Grand Floridian. Not very many resorts have that, but they do, and it's Gasparilla, and they actually have some really great stuff. You can order sandwiches, you can get salads, you can get desserts. Their cupcakes are like the size of my head. Husband had one, and he thought that it was pretty good. They have all kinds of different snacks. They've got tons of different drink options. You can get some fresh fruit. Like I said, you can do salads. So many different things that you can get over there 24 hours a day. So if you get home from the park late and you need a snack because you just spent 12 hours walking around Magic Kingdom or Epcot or whatever it may be, you can head on over to Gasparilla and get yourself something good. And it is good. Another thing is that they do have some great food options, and they're really well-rounded food options. You have 1900 Park Fare, which is a character meal. You have Victoria & Albert's, which is the fanciest restaurant on property, and on my bucket list of things to try. I have not tried it. If you have, would love to know what you think about it in the comments. You also have Narcoossee's, which has a great brunch option as well, and that you have a great view of the lagoon right there. And then you have the Garden View Tea, which is really fun and exciting, I think, for everybody. My husband actually did that for me for my birthday. He surprised me with that, and we had a blast. Even he had a great time. So there's so many different food options there, and I think they're really well-rounded, and there's something for everybody at the Grand Floridian. So that is why I love the Grand Floridian. Would love to know what you think about it in the comments. What are your pros? What are your cons? What are your best experiences? Maybe what was your not so great experience? We want to hear it all, so let us know. And for the love of the mouse, never forget that it all started with a mouse.